Yo, what is up, everyone? Dead Luck here. And after playing like 70 or like 80-ish hours of Hades 2, I've been asked to make like a tier list for like the different gods and whatnot. So as you see here, what do I go for? What do I prefer? And so obviously this tier list is going to be, it's going to be like my opinion and whatnot. You may differ. Some places might be higher for y'all. Some places might be lower for y'all. But overall, it's kind of just based on like how happy I am to see this god during my run. Like if I see this god in my run, I'm like, yo, let's go. Like, yes, I need you. So the first character I'll be picking from this list is Aries, the god of war himself. Aries is weird. He has like three different things going on for him. He has like the wound thing that gives you like the extra 50 power when you inflict it. He has the blade rifts, the good old blade rifts, and then he has the plasma system where you drop plasma when you kill enemies or when you take damage or when you slay enemies or whatnot, and that increases like your movement attack speed. But like the problem is none of them really mesh well together. At some point, the whole wound system and like the plasma system, they do have like some sort of synergy with each other. When it's like, oh, you inflict a wound, you get like extra plasma or whatnot. But it's his kit itself is kind of just like all over the place. Aries, when he has like this, it's kind of like this whole three different things going on. Like when you're making the Aries build, you're either going to be going for wounds, or you're going for a spill, and maybe blade rifts. I've never really gone for blade rifts. I've always gone for the whole the plasma spell system. I've always gone for that. I've always re-rolled for that, and then eventually kind of start getting into like the wounds. But mainly I personally think like the whole plasma thing is great, especially when you get the boon that allows you to get magic gain when you pick it up. It's solid. It takes a while to get it going. He's like high C, low B, but I feel like B is like a solid placement for him. Kind of like the jack of all trades, master of like really none. If they kind of like lean more into like the wound system and like the plasma system, maybe get rid of like the blade rifts and just kind of focus on that, I definitely do think that he could be like a more higher offensive, like a supporting character almost. That's just me though. Next on the list, we got Hera. S. S. No words needed when it comes to Hera. Her main thing is Hitch, and Hitch is great. Hitch allows you to deal like 30% damage to those who are inflicted with Hitch, and it just works so well in later areas when you're dealing with like so many enemies and you're just like, what is going on? I need help. Just literally inflict Hitch everywhere on everything, and then I'll watch just them all take damage and whatnot. Like they're just taking damage or sharing damage. It's honestly just really good. It's so helpful for crowd control and whatnot. And like her kid like knows what it wants to be. Unlike Aries, it's Hitch. Okay, boom, my cast, Hitch, attack, Hitch, special, Hitch. It's just really great with dealing with like a lot of enemies. Not to mention, it has like a lot of great synergy with like with other boons. Because it works well with like any of these characters. Like you can't really go wrong with Hera because she doesn't really necessarily disrupt what the other characters got going on, and she kind of just enhances that with her Hitch ability. She's S. Absolutely S. She is S. Let's go with Hephaestus. Honestly, Hephaestus is also like another really good god. There's like three gods I would call like support gods, and he's kind of like one of those gods. He has like great boons, great support boons, great boons and whatnot. Especially like, oh, you get your attack does explosion. Your special does explosion and whatnot. If you gain like more magic and whatnot, that also goes like to your hearts and whatnot, and gain armor whenever you enter into a counter. And every time you have more armor, you deal more damage, and then get more armor in like the first like couple of seconds of like the encounter or whatnot. It's just he just has a lot going for him. He kind of provides like he provides like a lot of defense, and then rewards you for like having it. So you have a lot of defense, rewards you for keeping that defense up and continue it throughout your whole run and whatnot. And it's just like, it's good. And once you get the whole clink clanks, ding dong, boom booms, and all that stuff, he's good. He's good. But I feel like he takes like a little bit longer to get good compared to like Hera. But he does he knows what he wants to do. He knows what he wants to be compared to Aries. It kind of takes a minute to keep on going. But once he keeps on going, obviously based on how good I'm speaking about him, Hephaestus is A. Hephaestus is clearly A. Let's go for Hestia. When it comes to Hestia, you're either doing a Scorch build or you're not doing a Scorch build. That's kind of just how I see like Hestia. Scorch itself, I feel like is okay. It has come in clutch during like one of my runs where it did like a significant amount of damage to like enemies and bosses and whatnot, but I feel like it kind of lacks in comparison to like other like damaging effects, that other gods provide. She has great magic regen though. Like when I do pick her up, I always reroll for like when you do attack or special, gain magic. That's pretty good, especially for someone like me who uses the torches, and I'm always using like my mega attack and my mega special and whatnot. She does have like some solid support builds though, like or support uses, like deal more damage to no enemies that are like around other enemies, deal more damage to those who are around enemies, and cause explosions that then can change like other explosions and whatnot. But like I don't know. I feel like a lot of her stuff just she doesn't have like much synergy with other gods, which is something like that I look for. And it's kind of like, okay, you got your whole Scorch thing, got your whole your explosion stuff and whatnot, but I feel like you don't really work well with like other gods. So if I had to put Hestia anywhere, I would have to do a C tier. Sadly, so I'm sorry for those who love Hestia and whatnot. I think her design is crazy good though. If that means anything, I think her design is crazy good. Let's go with Aphrodite. Let's go with Afro. Honestly, I think she's one of the other support gods, in this game, where I feel like that she fits well with like a lot of builds and whatnot. She has like a great attack boons, like a great special boons. Good for melee weapons when you need to be like up close and personal. It's like, okay, you strengthen, you do more attack the closer you are to enemies and whatnot, and that's right there. That's helpful. Like I said, maybe not as much useful for like the ranged weapons. She's Stealth Suite, which is kind of okay per se. I mean, it only lasts like 1 second in this game, which I feel like it should last like a little bit longer than 1 second. Maybe like 2 seconds, maybe, but like that 1 to 2 seconds though is that 1 second is a lot in this game though. Like, I'm not gonna say that's not a lot of time, because a lot of stuff can happen within 1 second if you're unaware. Sorry, my cat was meowing. He wants some attention right now. Rest, young one. He's like, you making a build video without me? Okay, he's comfortable now. He's like, I'm gonna be here for this. Get comfortable, man. Dang, I'm trying to make a video over here. get comfortable. Don't you bath on me. Don't you clean yourself on me. But a lot can happen in 1 second, so it's pretty cool. And plus, it still has like the buffs and debuffs, like, oh, you deal more damage to like weak defective foes and whatnot, and they deal like less damage to you. Her magic gain is pretty solid too. Whenever you're near enemies, they get affected with the whole weak thing, and then you gain magic and whatnot, which is solid. Not to mention, she also has like the whole thing where you can pick up the boon and it gives you like extra health, extra magic, while on top of like getting the other boon that makes you deal more damage if you are like at 80 or 80% or above your health threshold and whatnot, which is just like really good. So she's really good. She has like a lot of support and whatnot. Like, she kind of like, again, she knows what she wants to be. She knows for a fact where she wants to be. As you see, I'm speaking very highly of her. I have to put her in A, and I probably would put her above. I would put her above Hephaestus. Honestly, I feel like Hephaestus is still solid, but I feel like I would go for Aphrodite over Hephaestus. I'm not saying he's bad or anything like that. I mean, honestly, get both of them and you're good. Get both of like the three, or get both of like the 2 support gods and you're solid. So Demeter is like the last of like the support gods. She has a great CC with like solid magic regen and whatnot. If you stand still for a little bit, or when you're like inactive, you gain a lot more magic over time. Great CC with her freeze and with her freeze and her gust. The freeze just frees enemies solid and they're not moving for a while, and the gust slows enemies down, which is also great too. Get like the whole thing with a binding circle where boom, they're freeze. Not as much in the gust has happened, so they're slowed down too. So they get stuck, they get frozen, they get pop out, then they get frozen again because they're stuck and moving slow. and the cast that already makes them move slow. So she has a lot of great like crowd control abilities, and she's honestly like a solid character. Even if you don't get lucky or you don't have like, you're not dealing like extra damage to like shielded enemies, and so they're like sticking around longer than they should have. Demeter will be able to freeze them, slow them down long enough for you to like really break their shield before they can really get like any damage in. Not to mention some solid support too. If you get like the one thing that allows you to, is it upgrade in rarity, or is either upgrade the rarity of a boon or like the level of a boon. I'm forgetting on which one it is, but she has that. It just also has like whenever you use like the gather material, you gain health, so you get some solid sustainability. Demeter, honestly, before, oh man, I'm trying to figure out where I want to put her. Like, I'll like beforehand I was put Demeter here, but after I actually had a good solid run with Demeter as a support build, I kind of want to put her up here. I'm put her there. Apollo is also a solid character. Apollo is almost there as like one of like the support gods. I think he's solid. You know, I think Apollo is still pretty solid. He's kind of like a mix of both. Like he has some good defensive boons and some good offensive boons and whatnot. Like your attacking special, you get to like increase like their range and whatnot. So really good for like the axe. Just increase like that swing. So you're just swinging a big axe. You're making the axe even bigger by just swinging and going crazy. Magic gain is great when casting. You drop the cast, and then once it expires, you just gain magic, and it's like so good. It's so great. Not to mention, Apollo does have like one of like my favorite boons for cast, where it's like it expands. The cast is expanding, the enemies are slowing down, then they're getting inflicted with like hit, they're getting inflicted with the freeze or the slow or like the heart or stuff like that. The weak still doesn't really have like a lot of synergy, with other gods. Like that increase your attack and your special, but other than that, it doesn't really mix well with like the days stuff. Like it doesn't really mix well with other people. It's kind of up to chance and not necessarily like something you want to like really rely on unless you really go for like a dodge chance thing and whatnot. It does have like a cool boon though, where it's like if you're taking no damage for like 15 seconds, or if you haven't taken damage, you do like increased damage and whatnot, but if you do take damage, you got with like 15 seconds before that comes back. But still pretty great, still pretty solid. Maybe a little rough around the edges, like really close to being like solid, but like I feel like kind of just falls a little bit short in some areas. And if I were to put Apollo anywhere, I do think that Apollo is like high B. Let's go with Poseidon. Now I'm gonna say this right now. Never been a fan of Poseidon. I'm just gonna say that flat out. Not even gonna sugarcoat it. Not even gonna say anything. I've never been a fan of Poseidon. Even like in Hades 1, I've never been a fan of Poseidon. That's why every time I see Poseidon, I'm just like, God, why? I feel like for me personally, when it comes to Poseidon, he has some cool boons, stuff like that, but I feel like when I get Poseidon, the only thing that's kind of worth getting is like the attack and special. If he's your main god and you build like heavy towards Poseidon, great. You know what I'm saying? But it's kind of like if he's not your main guy and you're seeing him like as like your third god and like and climbing like Olympus, or you're going through like the morning fields or whatnot, you get Poseidon, you're just like, he definitely does have like cool effects when it comes to like the attack special, when like inflicts froth, which creates like a wave that like pushes like enemies back and whatnot. I like a solid build with like the daggers, where like my special was hitting them frontwards, front and like back and whatnot, so it was like double wave happening, which was pretty solid, and then charging up the special and then watching like the wave crash effect just hits every enemy and whatnot, which was pretty solid. But like I said, it was still like a pretty heavy Poseidon build and whatnot. Also, he has like the bountiful reward things, where it's like, oh, receive some rewards now, you pick that up, or you get the thing where you get like a copy of like nothing, like no major rewards, like you get a copy of like the money, the bones, the ash, the psyche, the palms and whatnot, which is pretty cool, because if you can, I believe it's like what, level 6? If you get that up to like level 6, it might be heroic too. It may be heroic, but if you get that up to like heroic level 6, it's like 100%. So then you're always getting that. Really good for like the economy if you get them early on and you get that boon early on, because you constantly just build up like a lot of money and whatnot. So it's kind of like, I may not always want to see Poseidon, but if I'm forced to pick him up, I would like to see that. But yeah, overall, I feel like Poseidon is just okay for that. I put Poseidon like in C. I know I was talking like Max Smack about him and whatnot. We'll probably make some of y'all think I was gonna put him in D. But if I put him in D, that would just be biased speaking. I do think he's better than like Hestia. Like I rather would see him over Hestia. At least for me. I know some of y'all were probably like Zeus is actually another great god. Great with dealing with like a lot of enemies later on. If you're able to get like the chain lightning boon that allows you to that allows like your attack to emit like a chain lightning that bounces off of like 2 more enemies, and then get like a boon that increases that allows up to like a 3rd enemy and whatnot. So you're dealing like a lot of damage to like a lot of enemies, which is just great. And it becomes even better with like the Hephaestus dual boon, because then like that chain lightning like bounces off of you. So then like if you're dealing with like a mini boss or a boss or anything like that, it's just you and that enemy, it bounces off of the boss back to you. I'm pretty sure it bounces off of you to the boss, so you need, you're chilling off of each other and dealing solid damage. And then his ability like Blitz, like you inflict bits when you attack or do special, or I believe when you run through enemies, or that just cause like a thunder strike. It might be thunder strike, but Blitz, allows Blitz is great for like single target enemies, whatnot too. So if you can't really benefit off of chain lightning, you're still dealing like decent damage with Blitz. And Blitz is a cool ability too, because like after like 4 seconds, enemy gets shocked, and after you deal like a certain amount of damage, enemy gets shocked. So it's either you activate it or it activates anyway, and it's great. Plus plenty of plus plenty of boons that kind of help with the thunder aspect and like the lightning aspect. Like he's a guy that knows what he wants to do. He wants to shock everything. So that's what you're gonna get. The cast thunder shocking like or lightning striking every enemy every so often, like in a circle, increase that for like more shock damage and more shocks happening. And Blitz just constantly dealing shock on top of shock. It's on top of like shock. It's just good. It's like literally just shock central over here. And then not to mention, he also has great magic regain too, where he drops like this little orb of magic that you can just pick up. So you can like run through your magic supply, wait for just to resupply, you pick it up, boom, and then start going crazy again with the magic. And he has like a lot of like solid energy with like other characters too, because I definitely know he has like one dual boon with Demeter where it's like freeze enemies also get shocked, stuff like that. So there's like a lot of stuff where it's like you trigger another character's effect, this effect happens, or like you trigger your effect and this other character's effect happens, stuff like that. Not to mention he also has a pretty great legendary boon too, where it's just like you just kill an enemy. Like he's just like, all right, that one, yeah, 100% power, goodbye. Zeus overall is a great god. He's amazing god. He is a god among gods, I'm being honest with you. And based off of all that praise, you gotta put Zeus in S tier. I don't think there's any god that's just like just bad. I feel like if you really focus hard on a specific god, you can do better. You can, you might have like a better opinion of them if you hard focus on them. But in this game, it's all about making certain builds, mixing and matching with like other gods to enhance certain aspect of other boons. You really look for like that synergy to make like a really great build, because if you don't make a great build, things can be rough. But yes, that is the Hades 2 tier list, at least my tier list. Let me know what you guys think down below. What would you do? What would you rank differently? Would you put someone in the higher tier? Would you put someone in the lower tier? Do you think that there is flat out a bad god that should be in the D tier? If you guys like the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you can be notified when I post another video. But until then, y'all, take care. Enjoy the rest of y'all day, and I'll see y'all next time.